February 12th, 2010 was Percy Jackson's worst nightmare. The theatrical release of the highly despised and deeply flawed Percy Jackson movie was released to cinemas all over the world. This was Fox Studios' take on adapting a beloved book series, and they missed the mark in almost every way possible. Yet what started as a tale of insultingly bad movies, failed expectations, and a disappointed fan base eventually transformed into an online battle to save one of the most beloved franchises of all time. It was the world's most impossible task, and it all started with a hashtag. In 2004, Rick Riordan, the author of the Percy Jackson books, would receive the opportunity of a lifetime. Even before Percy Jackson's official release, the 20th Century Fox movie studio approached Rick and offered to option his book franchise. This means the studio would have the rights to adapt the Percy Jackson series, if it ever became successful, that is. So, like any human being with common sense, Rick Riordan accepted. As the years went on, Percy Jackson had become one of the most successful book series of all time. This was what Fox Studios had been hoping for. So not long after that, a movie featuring the first Percy Jackson book was underway in development. Chris Columbus was the director for this project, the guy who made the first two Harry Potter movies. So there's no way this movie could fail. Right? This was the beginning of the end for Percy Jackson. As the creation of the movie went along, the Fox executives would send Rick their movie script to see what he thought of their adaptation. To sum up his reaction, he was pissed off.
So I was reading the script and I was like... And so I wrote them back and I said, I have a few suggestions, and I pulled out like 20 pages.
Even though Rick had many requests for changes, the movie makers ignored it and went on ahead with the film that they were so confident in. Now, if you can guess, the Percy Jackson movie was an insignificant adaptation of its book counterpart. The Percy Jackson film was so bad compared to the books that the movie would universally be crowned the title, one of the worst adapted movies of all time. Now, if the knife wound in the hearts of fans weren't already stabbed deep enough, Fox Studios were able to make just enough box office money from their Percy Jackson movie that they decided to make a sequel, which was released 3 years after the first. This movie shared the crown title, one of the worst adapted movies of all time, alongside its predecessing movie. After this sequel movie didn't do quite as well as the first, the studio finally gave up on Percy Jackson, and no other sequels were made. Thank God. Percy Jackson fans never gave up though. They still believed Percy Jackson could be done right, could have an adaptation that would reflect the books they've loved for years. But Rick Riordan had other plans. He was way done with movie making. Instead, he did what he did best, and that was to write books. Even to this day, Rick has never stopped writing novels for the Percy Jackson universe, and over time, he's become something of a modern icon in the industry. His novels written in Percy's universe have sold over 180 million copies worldwide, making it one of the best-selling book franchises ever sold. That's not all though. Percy Jackson's fan base just kept growing. The series has been around since 2005, so it's been going strong for over a decade and a half now. Remember, the Percy Jackson franchise has sold over 180 million copies, so there's a lot of Percy fans. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. An online community full of the most talented art creators, a plethora of AMVs featuring that art, tons of inside jokes and memes, music that you can put on your Spotify playlist, an abundance of professionally made web series, a hell of a lot of animations, podcasters, YouTubers, an official musical that made it to Broadway, and much, much more. Here we are, at the beginning of the beginning. As time went on in life, Fox Studios wasn't making it big anymore, so in 2019, 20th Century Fox would be sold to Disney. This means the rights to adapting Percy Jackson were also bought alongside buying Fox Studios. So Disney had the power to refresh the Percy Jackson universe and finally make it into the faithful adaptation its fans have wanted for years. However, Disney, the big head honchos of the movie industry, weren't gonna listen to some random person on Twitter asking if they can readapt a failed movie franchise. Filmmaking is expensive, difficult, and Disney has a lot of other projects they have in the works. What Percy Jackson needed was to convince Disney. He needed people, because one person can't move a mountain, but an entire army, could move the entire planet. So with all that being said, this official Percy Jackson show that we talk about in this video only came to be when in 2019, millions within the Percy Jackson community worked together online and spread the hashtag #DisneyAdaptPercyJackson, resulting in the hashtag to become #1 trending worldwide. Keep in mind that there wasn't a single bit of help from any big figures to make this happen. No executives, no celebrities, not even Rick himself helped make this hashtag trend. It was just people who loved Percy Jackson coming together. So, as a result of this, Rick listened. Weeks went by, then months, and then it almost felt like a year. Until finally, on May 14th, 2020, a Disney Percy Jackson TV show was finally announced to the world.
Percy Jackson is coming to Disney Plus.
And I'll let these fans explain how big a deal this news truly was.
Oh my god, Disney Plus! It's happening!
Yes. There's still one last important piece of this story that I need to show you. Remember when I said that the Percy Jackson franchise has sparked many creators? Well, I am very happy to bring those incredible content creators from around the globe to you today. Introducing the Percy Jackson community, the ones who made the official Percy Jackson and the Olympians Disney TV show possible.
Hi, I'm Percy Jackson World.
Hey everyone, I am Fran of A Healthy Dose of Fran.
Hi everyone, I'm Reader Forever 6, but some of you may know me as Jade.
Hey everyone, this is Joe Tom.
Hello, I am Aquarius Owl.
Hello there, I am that PJO guy.
I'm most excited for is how the settings are gonna look. I heard since they have such a big budget, they're using something called, well I actually don't know what it's called, but basically it's a huge room made of TV screens, and instead of using green screens, they just project the image of the setting on the TVs, and it really helps put the actors in their environment. They used it on shows like The Mandalorian, so I'm really excited to see how places like camp and the underworld are gonna look.
The thing I'm most excited about for the Percy Jackson TV show is probably just seeing basically the story coming to life, but also how the story may change in the adaptation. I know Rick, and just as an author myself, there are always things that when you're coming to your story from a new perspective, whether it's been years since you've read it in general or just some distance and just putting it into a different media, there are sometimes things that you want to change, want to improve, want to work on. So I'm also just generally intrigued to see how the story may change in some ways. Maybe Luke as a villain will be more prominent than what it was in the books, at least to me. Will Percy struggle more with self-doubt? Will Annabeth have more of a connection with her family or anything like that? I'm just intrigued as to what may change but still stay the same to the core of the story of the book. And yeah, I have a lot of faith in Rick, I have a lot of faith in the writer's room, and I'm looking forward to seeing the story come to life.
One thing that I'm really excited for and looking forward to for the Percy Jackson TV show, besides the fact that Rick and Becky are behind the wheel like almost every step of the way, it's so amazing. I'm really looking forward to Rick's adding in of certain elements and certain scenes that we didn't get in the original source material, because, and he's already talked about this, like there's some things that he can add to improve upon the books that we already know and love. And as someone who's been a part of this for over 8 years now and just loves this fandom with her whole heart, I'm really excited for that, because I'm hoping we can get glimpses of other characters and what they're doing away from Percy during his quest and stuff. I am hoping to see more background on it for other characters, and I'm also hoping to maybe see some scenes changed and improved upon that were originally in the books. So it'll be really interesting to see how all that plays out, but I trust Rick with my whole heart and my whole body, y'all know that. And I can't wait. I'm so excited, and I can't wait to watch it with you guys.
The one thing that I want to see most, that I'm most looking forward to in the Percy Jackson and the Olympians TV series, is literally just the characters. If they do the characters right, this show is going to be amazing. And I'm not talking about appearances, because obviously some appearances are already varying with actors we know have been cast, as opposed to how they appear in the books. But I'm more looking for personality and just how they portray the character, because that's what's most important. And so far we've had 8 people cast, 8 people that we know about have been cast. And honestly, all of them look like they're going to portray the characters very well. I've seen some of them act. I'm really looking forward to how they bring other acting skills, like where I've seen them before, and bring some of that into this show. Really looking forward to it. But all of them, honestly, the ones we've gotten so far, the 8 that we've gotten so far, we actually just got 5 like this past week, and we got the 3 main characters a little earlier. But all of them look amazing. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they bring these characters to life on screen. And so far, if I'm just going on first perceptions, I think that it's going to be a lot better than the Percy Jackson movies that came out almost a decade ago. I think it's going to be a lot better. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I think this series is going to be amazing.
One thing that I am most excited for about the Percy Jackson TV show, actually, I do not have just one thing. I have multiple stuff here on my list. Is first of all casting, the acting of our characters, of course, the chemistry they have with each other, and second is the soundtrack. I am really excited about the music. Third is the humor. We get to see cameos and Easter eggs from other series, or other books, or other seasons. Next is special effects, how demigods would use their powers, the monsters, the creatures from Greek mythology. We get to see that. Next is Camp Half-Blood. We finally get to see, hopefully they have a panoramic view of Camp Half-Blood. We get to see all the cabins and all that stuff, and how certain scenes will play. The underwater kiss, everybody's excited about that, am I right? Yeah, that's basically it.
Now that Percy Jackson will be on Disney+, we'll be faithfully adapting the books, and we'll have the support of millions of fans that have been around for over 15 years, I'm very excited to watch the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series become the next big franchise of the generation. Just a genuinely good show where we can watch young heroes grow with each installment. If this TV show can adapt the DNA within the Percy Jackson books to the screen successfully, then Percy Jackson may finally be crowned the title one of the best adaptations of all time. Never forget that it's all thanks to the millions of people who love Percy Jackson which made this impossible task possible.